Welcome to Monday, bank holiday Monday here in England. I'm not sure actually how far the bank holiday is. Anyway, it's definitely here. I'm just turning the water off because the ducks pond is getting filled up and I've just done all the animals for the morning. So they're all happy and taken care of. Time for me to go inside, grab a cup of coffee, get something to eat and get on with my day. I've got a lot of making up to do. Seem to have had a lazy few days, but we've got busy. The challenge starts tomorrow. So we've got a busy day ahead in the garden and in the garden and inside, not outside. I've got all the damsons to harvest because they're ready now. So we don't need to go foraging for those, literally just in where the ducks are. Lots going on, so I'm going to take you with me for as much as the day as I can and see how much we get done. Excuse the eyes, I've just chopped up a pound of onions. So in there is the makings of fermented salsa. I need to get some chilies. I've got peppers in there, and I need to get some coriander as well to chop in. I've got no fresh coriander, so I'll have to go and grab some of that when we go out, and then that'll be done. And that is going to be enough fermented salsa. That's a full Dutch oven. I think that's is it 4 or 5? Anyway, it's going to be enough for the winter for us. So I'll get that jarred and leave it on the shelf for 3 days to ferment, so it'll start bubbling over, and it'll be enough for us to see us through to next tomato season. Hopefully anyway, because it's a really nice one. I did this before. It's from the Elliott Homestead. If you're wanting to get the recipe, I'll leave the link to her website. I think she's got a YouTube video on it as well. Anyway, I did it before and it's really nice, and it's much better than canning and where you lose all of the properties and things like that, all of the nutrients. It just basically, it's just really good for you and it'll last you right throughout the winter, and it's a good dose of something that's good for your gut, I think, anyway. So I've got a couple of other things I want to get busy with. Stephen's just fixing the chicken shed because the doors broke on that, and there's a few things we wanted to get done outside, but it's actually just started raining. So we might need to prioritise or rejig our day, but we'll take you along with us. Would you believe it? We went to Tesco on the way back from somewhere else, so it combined our journey, so we weren't using the car too much. They didn't have any coriander at all, so I've got some parsley as a kind of a substitution and some dill. Both of those will get used up if I don't use them in this salsa recipe. But I am going to Aldi tomorrow, and I'm laughing because that's the first shop that I'll be doing as part of the new challenge. And if they've got coriander, that means I'm going to have to buy it out of my new £25 budget, which is starting tomorrow. So it's like already I need more things. So if they haven't got any tomorrow, then I'll just add this herb into the fermented salsa. I'll just literally put the salsa in the fridge overnight. Nothing will happen. It'll just sit there quite happily. And then we'll get the herbs tomorrow and I'll decide what I'm going to do with that. Couldn't believe it though. Like, they've always got herbs in. But anyway, teaches me for not having it growing in the greenhouse or outside, doesn't it? So what I've done since we've got back, I've got quite a bit of freezer burn meat that came out of the freezers. You guys know that I cleaned the freezers out and we did a full inventory of those, and I had quite a bit of freezer burn meat, whether it was game or just sort of chicken wings, tips, drumsticks, all that kind of thing. And I've literally just filled them. We're in the utility at the minute. I've just put the big slow cooker on and I've just set them away, and all I'll do is when they're cooked, I've just put it on low because that's the best in terms of electricity consumption prices. So I'm just going to leave that on all day while we go and get everything else done that we've got to do outside. And once that's done, I'll strip the meat off the bones. The bones will just have to go to the waste because we don't tend to put them on the compost because it brings in the foxes, and all of the meat will then get bagged up for the dogs over the next coming weeks. It depends how much we've got as to how much, whether I'll have to put some back in the freezer or not. The irony. Anyway, Jack's going to give me a hand. Stephen and Grace are busy getting sorted outside doing other things, and I've got quite a bit of gardening stuff that I need to take care of, as well as tidying the barn out and this, that and the other. So let's go and get busy again. Finally back in the vegetable garden, and we're going to get harvesting and we're going to get sowing our autumn crops and winter crops. So I want to get beetroot in and carrots in, some lettuce, things like that. I've decided just to replant the beds that had them in anyway, the beetroot, that is, not the carrots, just because they're quite a quick crop and they won't be in for too long. They won't be in over all of the winter or anything like that. so I'll still be able to get the compost or the rotted horse manure in the bed once the beetroots will come out, and still have plenty of time for that to get turned in before we start planting them up next year. So I like to try and put in as much as I take out, but at the moment this is the bed that I'm going to be getting the beetroot in before we start working down the bottom plot as well. Right, well, we've got one row of winter spinach, the giant winter spinach, 2 rows of Pablo beetroot, and 1 row of the chogia beetroot. And then that leaves me with half a bed, which I'm going to get some, I've got some different bits and pieces of Swiss chard, cabbage, kohlrabi, just bits and pieces that are still to go in really. So I'm going to get those in the other half of the bed, and hopefully that'll utilise that space well through the next few months. And then once everything comes out, we'll get this filled with the rotted manure, like I said, and then get it covered over for the winter and give it a bit of a break, ready to start again next year. It's took longer than I anticipated, but doesn't everything? I'm going to get that watered before I forget. There we go then, this is the final result, the seeds that I've already shown you. And what I've done is I've put these plants that I ill-treated by not watering enough, and they've been in the cold frame, and I've been watering them and trying to take care of them, making sure there was no creepy crawlies on them and things like that. And they're looking a lot better than they did for the first 2 rows. So that's chard, that's some Portuguese kale, and this is some black Tuscan kale. The black Tuscan kale is looking, there's only 3 in there, and they're looking the worst out of the lot, so I'll keep a special eye on them. I think I've got some 5-litre jugs that I could actually use to protect them from predators and things, you know, the slugs and all of that good stuff. So I'll have a look, and if I have, I'll just make mini cloches out of those. But apart from that, these hopefully now will be okay. I'm not sure if I'm going to need to net them or not. I'll have to check for the white cabbage butterfly. I don't know if it's too late for that now. Anyway, all of that's done, and we've had a good watering session and a tidying up session, believe it or not. And I've just tidied the nettles and things out of here, and would you believe we had this the other week, but there's another flipping queen bee hibernating in this trough here. I didn't know that they hibernated. I don't know what I thought they did. I've never really given it that much thought before. But anyway, I lifted this out because I was going to replace it, the soil, and she is hibernating. She got really knocked off, so we've put it back down. So I'm hoping she's going to be okay. And I'm just going to leave that as it is. I'm going to water this creeping thyme, and then I won't water. Obviously it'll get wet when it rains and things, but I'll just leave her do her thing. So that's creeping thyme in there, and this flowering is creeping thyme as well. We've tidied up all along here, got rid of the rubbish that was here. These are the strawberries that I rescued. Where was that from? Anyway, these were runners, and they were in the pathway in the other veg plot. So I've sorted all of these out. Jack's helped me find out the ones that are looking healthier than others. We've given them a good watering. The ones that didn't make it have gone in the compost. I've watered all of my little pots up here, which are mostly herbs and things. The tarragon seems to prefer to be dry, so I'm leaving her. I've staked up, this is the mulberry tree. So I've staked that up because it was very dry, and it's gone a little bit yellow in the leaves, so maybe not too happy. So I might see if there's a feed I can help out with that. This is the fig tree. I've just gently wrapped some, some baling twine around that, just so that it stays a bit straighter, because that was on a wonk as well. So it's all looking a lot better. It could do with a sweep and things, but I haven't got time to do that right now. Well, that's not true. I'm not going to do that right now. Anyway, it's starting to look a lot better. I need to work on that bed next. Don't know if I'm going to do that now. We'll see how much time I've got left before I want to move on to some inside jobs. But I'm really pleased that we're starting to see the autumn and winter garden coming along. Jack's been harvesting some potatoes for me whilst I've been working on that bed. So I've told him there was a few of the green ones still. So this is the 2 rows that I didn't quite get to yet, which is fine, because you know, they just sit in the ground and wait for you. So there's a little pile of potatoes that we can have. We'll put those in stores, have them with our tea. We're going to do, I've got like a Spanakopita, is that how you say it for tea? So I'm going to get that on, and I'm going to do some of the spuds with it. Whether I wanted to roast them, but I can't remember what variety these ones are, so they might roast or they might not. But there's still so much more work, as always, to be getting on with in here. But I'm really happy with what we've got done for today. I'm going to come out 30 minutes every night. Go back to that again, because obviously I'm doing the challenge, so I'll be out here harvesting, and a lot of recordings going on in that challenge. That was Stephen. I'll show you what he's got up to. yeah, there's a lot of recording needed and editing for that challenge, so I'm going to try and fit everything in as best I can, see where we get to. I'm still going to do the vlog because it won't be double footage. I'm going to be, well, if it is, I know you guys won't mind, but essentially the challenge will be a lot stricter or a lot more scripted. That's the word I was trying to look for, in terms of what the template is for it. And obviously the vlog, I just kind of take you guys along to show you what I'm up to and how things are going, but I want specific footage and specific topics each week for the different challenge weeks, because each week I'm going to try and do a different topic. So the first week is going to be like meal planning, benefits of meal planning, especially during these times, and all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of thought and effort needs to go into the back of that, whereas the vlog is obviously just whatever I'm working on at the time, and it's just easy for me to pick up the video and just waffle away like I do. So I'm going to go in now and grab a cup of tea or something, because I'm absolutely parched, and we'll see what else I get up to. It's just after 4, and I've got a few things that I want to get preserved inside tonight as well, so I'll show you those and we'll see how we get on. I think we're going to have to get Stephen his own brand of spades and tools and things, because he keeps snapping them all. Another one, it was my garden hoe the other day. Anyway, let me turn the camera and show you what he's up to at the minute.
Still, mate, I'm strong enough.
Strong enough for him. Everybody else, it's okay. So this is what he's been working on, the outdoor kitchen update. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll see I'm putting all of the stories on there and in our highlights. But essentially, he's got all of the posts in. These have all been treated on the bottom. We've got the timber across the top. We need to speak to a roofer now, basically, to get the roof on. The idea is that we're going to have open fire here, so that we can use that for heat to warm us up and to cook on. But this won't be enclosed. It's not going to be like an enclosed building like this one. But he's taken the tree down. Unfortunately, we couldn't, as you can see, we can't take it out and replace it.
Roots out.
Because ideally we would have, moved it elsewhere on the farm, but that's just not an option, as you can see. So we're getting that. All of the other greenery that was here has been taken out, and what he's done on this bit here is, I think this was an old septic tank, we're not too sure. So what we're doing is actually making this into a seating bar area, and he's going to cut out kind of a serving hatch, I keep calling it here, which there'll be a bar and a kitchen inside there, and all of this bit out here ideally will be off grid. That's the plan. But there'll be space here for bar stools, and you'll be able to sit. This will be open, and then Stephen can serve me my drinks through there. Maybe now's not the time. Anyway, it's coming on lovely. Really pleased with how it's looking, and I'll let you know. Oh, there's another tool gone.
That's well tooling active.
Do you know, it wouldn't cost us that much. It's going to cost us the most replacing all these flipping tools. I've left him outside. At the moment, it's the tree one, Stephen nil. So he's literally broken a spit, a spade, fork. There's just so many things that are going to need replacing just to get this flipping tree out. Anyway, that's his project, and he's busy on with it. I've come in to get tea started, not to tea get. I'm going to do my take on Spanakopita. I don't know how you pronounce it, if that's butchering it or not. We've got lamb in the freezer, and I'm going to get the Instant Pot used to kind of get... I was supposed to put it in the slow cooker all day, and of course I didn't get around to that first thing this morning, so I'm going to just blitz it in the Instant Pot, and hopefully we'll get the same results. I am then going to put the pie in the oven, so it is double use of the electrics, but from tomorrow when the challenge starts, we're going to be trying to get on top of all of this and not double using things. But for now, we're splashing out, and we're going to use the Instant Pot and the cooker. Anyway, it's going to be lamb, some spices. I'm going to just put it on for 20 minutes. It's quite tender lamb anyway, so it should be totally fine for 20 minutes. And then essentially I'm just going to put it in with some spinach in some phyllo pastry and bake it in the oven. Do some roast potatoes with it, and I'll see what veggies I've got, because I'm not going shopping until tomorrow night, as I mentioned, which is the first shop for the challenge. So I'm going to get busy and show you what it looks like, and it might be a complete fail. I've never done it before, and I'm not the most delicate of cooks with the phyllo pastry and things, so it'll all eat. All goes in the same place, that's what I always say. Doesn't look too appetising, but I've just browned some lamb off, and I've added in cumin, coriander, a stock cube, just because I've got one in, some onion, what was the other thing? Oh, cinnamon. I'll leave the recipe that I'm following in the description below. I'm literally just following that with whatever I've got in. If I haven't got something in, I'm just going to substitute it. So I'm going to pop the lid on this, and we're going to do 20 minutes on high pressure, which should be totally tender. and we'll see what it looks like when it's done. I've thickened it up ever so slightly with some xanthan gum. You could use just flour, corn flour, your normal whatever, but I've got that in, so that's what I'm using. And I've just added in some fresh spinach, so you could use any of your greens that are lighter, so your beetroot greens, anything like that would be perfect for this. You'd have to cook it again if you added kale, but I'm just going to leave these to wilt in, and then that essentially becomes the pie filling. It says I need some mint and I haven't got any, so I'm going to run out and grab some from the garden, see what I can muster up. I'm just going to leave that with the lid on while I go and do that, and that will wilt down lovely. So this is the apple mint that I chopped right back the other week, and it's coming back absolutely fantastically, so I think this will go beautifully with tea. So I think that's the pie mixture ready. It says to add pine nuts as well, but we don't eat nuts when my daughter's having the same meal as us, so I think that's about right. Right, let's get it made up. Phyllo pastry is a little bit delicate for me. I've ripped the first 4 sheets, but that's it. I'm following my recipe guide. I'm going to get the filling, pop it in, and then cover it again, and with melted butter, like paint it in melted butter. What's the correct term? And scrunch some more phyllo pastry on top, and then I'm going to get it in there for about 45 minutes to an hour, whilst I get the veggies done as well.
Steve 3-1 my ass. Yeah, alright.
Are you pleased?
I need a bath, shower.
Good job done. Well, it certainly looks the business. I'm going to leave it cool down because it's boiling at the minute, and then we'll see what it cuts up like. I didn't do the roasties in the end because it was bigger than I realised.